Yeah, my name is Natalja. I work as a youth trainer in the youth field, and at the same time, I develop games for the young people, for those who work with young people, and also for some other, let's say, organizations outside of the youth work. And I think I think the games is part of my passion or hobbies as well. I like to play games, but at the same time, from the professional perspective, as studying psychology, I also find that games is very good tool and very efficient tool what we can use for the learning processes. And if we talk with young people, very often we ask them like, okay, what do you learn, where you learn, and so on. And for sometimes it's a bit boring, let's say, for them to talk about learning, because they associate it very much with the school. And then when they think, okay, school learning, okay, it's somebody will measure us, somebody will put us marks and so on. And then this is why I think games and gamification processes, they help to make this process much more, engaging, interesting, bringing fun, and make people be happy about the learning process, and they start to like the learning process much more, and speak about learning much more in a positive way, let's say. So this is why I think in I don't know how many years ago, but my love to games brought me together with the other colleagues, and together we developed the Association of Educational Games and Methods in Latvia. And we are bringing together game developers in Latvia also, and making bigger like introductory promotion events here to bring games into the educational environment, into youth work environment, but also at the same time we are developing games ourselves, and do different international projects together with other youth workers and trainers who work with young people and with different groups of young people. And especially I think games are very, from my experience, they are very much helping to work with groups of young people who are sometimes more difficult to reach or more difficult to motivate, and bring improve their or increase their motivation to be involved. And as working also for some time, I worked with young people in closed institutions in prisons. Then I worked also with young people in orphanages or in different social institutions, with the young people from minority background, and also with migrants. So it was all the time very important to find these ways how to engage young people more. And games were one of the ways, let's say, what we discovered ourselves. And I would like, we start to speak about the games, and I will share a little bit about one of the projects what we had on the gamification, and then I will offer you to develop practically also some idea for the game, let's say, what you can use in your with your young people, and using also a game what we use here for developing ideas. And but to start or to continue to talk about the games, I would like to ask you to go to Mentimeter, and you will see now in the chat, you will see now the code. So I invite you to go to menti.com and enter the code 61288102 and answer the question. And answer the question, what you will see there. And the question will be, what do we get out of playing the games? Any ideas which came to your mind, like what do you get out as a game player or also as a youth worker with the young people? Like, what do we get out of playing the games? It can be from the development perspective, from the emotional perspective, from the any other behavior perspectives, let's say, and enter your answers there. And we will see then all the ideas what we have in our group. Okay. Okay, slowly answers are appearing. Let's wait a little bit and then we can share the screen. I will share the screen also, we can see what are the ideas. So what do we get out of playing games? Any different games, board games, simulation games, any other games which came to our mind. Okay, so we have fun, a lot of fun, right? Learning by playing, learning to lose as well, which is a very important competence, right? What we can learn and what we can feel, let's say, and what we can experience: creativity, connectivity, social connections, teamwork, strategy, self-awareness, become better aware of ourselves, what kind of players we are, or how we react in different situations. Emotional bond, Okay, actually, games are bringing a lot of emotions, and they can be both positive and negative. And then the question usually for the youth worker is like, if we want to get the engagement and young people engaged, also how we can turn all the experiences, right, what they get, and all the emotional experience what they get in the game, also as a learning process, that they would not experience it as a negative, would not have it just a negative experience, but if they lose or if they fail in something, that they can take some bring some outcomes of this, or think what they learn out of this process. Okay, very good, thank you very much. Me, my colleagues in Latvia, and some other colleagues from other countries, we were so much interested into exploring more the gamification, what the gamification is, how we understand what the gamification is, why people play games. And as you've been mentioning already in the Menti, that games are bringing a lot of benefits actually for the players, and also for those who use games in the learning process. And if we look from the scientific perspective and so on, like looking as a psychologist, let's say, to the playing process, we can actually see many benefits. Also, that people learn some information from the games. People get emotionally connected, and the emotions help us to be involved more than just cognitive processes, let's say. And then this makes actually people attached to the game, and they help them to. And we, as a youth workers, let's say, if we use gamification, it helps us to involve and engage young people more. Because these emotional connections are built and so on. And then it started. And if you are interested more, you can read a little bit more about that also, starting from this other, from the anthropological point of view, because the game is not connected only with people, it's connected also with animals and so on, or many let's say live creatures they are playing games, but the games are different. And but the idea of playing the game can be used as working with young people coming from the NEET background, because many of them are either they have lower self-esteem, they're not sure if they can participate, or they never had experience of let's say positive experience being in the group and so on. And we can use games in order to to give them this chance, and to make everybody, from one point of view, we can play games where we have a competition. From the other side, we can play games where we have equal opportunities for everyone to be involved and to give some roles for everyone and so on. So if we talk about the games, but then what is the difference between the gamification and game-based learning? So there are three things already what we named. There is this gamification, game-based thinking, and there is game-based learning. And we can, around this games, actually there are many things which are kind of connected with each other, or which are connected to games. And thank you for sharing also, Tony and Andre, for your ideas. That if we think about the gamification, definitely we take some real life situation, and we add some elements of the game, either the reward system, either the way how people do it, either the format, let's say, how it happens. For example, if we need to clean the leaves outside, and there are youngsters there, we can ask them to help, and might be that they would help us for a few minutes or for 1 minute, and then they are bored. Why to clean these leaves outside near the youth center and so on. This is a real life situation, but we can bring some game elements. We can bring the whistle, for example, the rubbish bags, and to say, okay, we have 9 rubbish bags. We need to get all these leaves in these 9 rubbish bags. We have only 15 minutes for that, or 10 minutes for that. We can divide people. We are bringing these playing elements in there. Because you just go and clean in a boring way these leaves, but you are bringing some. You can bring also some competition or some other elements in there, and this makes the real life situation process as a gamified process. Or you go to the shop for example, and you buy something there and you get some, I don't know, some stickers, some points on your card and so on. This is also the gamified element of the shopping process. Yeah, you are going shopping anyway, and you will not stop going there. But then you get in the shop, you get points in the end of the shopping, and then you are getting connected to this shop, and you want to go there. You want to be engaged with this particular shop. And the same also with the youth center, for example. Yeah, the young person is going to the youth center, and we are offering them not just to go there, but we are giving some reward for going there. It's not a present, let's say, but it's something which makes them feel like, okay, I'm part of that organization. Yeah, they get either stickers, or they get how to say, they have a chance to complement each other with some stickers, with badges, with some other tools. And this makes the regular activities of the youth center more, let's say, gamified, more interesting for them, bring this game elements. If we think about the game-based learning, then we are thinking of the development of the competences, development of improving of skills within the game. Yeah, so we use game in order to develop the skills. And actually, we often mix both of them in order to make young people engaged and interested in. For the gamification, it's usually like there are different elements what we are taking from the game in order to make the real life situation more, let's say, playing processes. So it can be that we think of the mechanics of the process. Let's say if we add any points for doing something, or if there are any levels, let's say throughout the year, young person is going to the youth center, and then they are reaching one level, the second level, like in the computer games, you reach first level, then you reach the second level. Like, I think this system is used also in the Scouts organization very often. Okay, you just entry level, then you improve, or you do something, then you have opportunity to bring your initiative, then you do next, and we can support them and help them to reach the next level. So it's not a kind of competition, but it's kind of a reward, something what I give to myself. Then there can be also different reward systems, and we can measure the results, and we can give chance for young people to measure the results, how good they are at something, how they feel better than themselves in months ago, let's say, and so on. And this can be also visually somewhere situated. I worked with the young people with disabilities, and I think with them it worked very well. I mean, we had this wall of rewards and a self-assessment, and they could measure their improvement and their skills in some particular periods of time. And it was very for them it was very motivational. So there was not nobody else saying like, okay, you are good in this or that, but themselves, they felt, okay, what is my improvement? And they could see it also visually. And it's kind of also recognition of their both involvement and both what they did, what they contributed to the organization. And we can also think, if we think of the gamification, we can think of some online, using some online tools. Also this badge system. I think, I'm not sure if it's this one used also in this week, in the Inspire Week, but I think it's very often used in different activities organized by SALTO. These online badges, what you receive for attending or for completing some task or just socializing with each other. So this is another option. But we can also think how the tools what we have every day, or gadgets what we have every day, like watches and different other things, can be used also in our everyday activities in the youth centers. So counting the steps, how many steps people are youngsters have reached, let's say, a day, and then they make their own, let's say, calculations for a month and so on. They draw some silhouettes, or some symbols when they are walking and so on. But and this was the idea, what we thought, like, why we want to organize the project on the gamification. That we were thinking, like, okay, every youth center usually have many board games on the shelves, and very often these board games are just there. They are there. The youngsters are coming, playing a little bit, and then we thought, okay, how we can think of something what we have already in the organization, but or in the youth centers, and how we can make something out of that very meaningful that would engage youngsters. And so the partners from 7 countries, we came together and thought, like, why not to organize this kind of activity where we can think how we can put together this already existing games in our organization and to make it more kind of the processes what we have more gamified, let's say, and what we would need for that. And out of all these brainstorm ideas and so on, we created the project, and we had this we ran it in December 2019 in Latvia. We met together and we were thinking like, okay, how the organization or youth center, how we can where we need to start and how we can proceed further if we want to develop some gamified process. And what we did, we actually explored a lot about the games, this emotional part, how the emotions influence the engagement, how and the learning process, about the fun and about the interest. If we bring interest, then the people are more engaged. And then we came up with I think this is the best result out of the things what we did. We developed the algorithm. Actually, what we as an organization or youth center, what we need to keep in mind when we develop the gamified process, or actually when we develop also a game. Yeah, this is for the gamified process, but it can be also used well if we think of some educational game what we develop in the organization. And there are different elements. And in the presentation, you will have also the link to the whole resource material. You can read it later on, but just I will introduce some elements of that. And we combined all possible, or we thought of all possible steps and elements what we need to think about, or what is important to think about when we develop either game or gamified process. And we went even further, not just naming these elements, but we thought, like, okay, what is behind these elements? Like, if we think about the purpose and the aim, why we developed this gamified process, then we thought, okay, what do we want to achieve? What do we want to change? What kind of processes we would like to improve or change in our youth center? Then we thought also, another element, like as a result, for example, what would be the ideal result? Not only for the youth, but for the young people. What kind of competence we would like them to develop, or what kind of behavior we would want them to change, or what we would like to improve there, and why this result could be important for both sides, both for them and both for us as a youth center. Then also about the target group. And who is this? When we say like who are those people who will play the game or who will be involved in the gamified process? It's from all the possible perspectives, both from the age, from the background, what they can, what they know, what they believe in, how confident they are, or what kind of experiences they have. And if you look from the perspective of the diversity, okay, what are those diverse? What is this diversity represented also in the group that might influence influence the game process or the gamified process, or that might what we need to consider in order to offer the best algorithm, let's say, or the better mechanism of the gamified process. And also, the resources, very often we have quite a lot of resources in the organization and we don't need any extra things. We can think what we need in terms of the environment, if it's inside activity, if it's inside the process, or is it outside process? Is it a process when it happens distantly, online and so on? And then any possible resources that might be there. And then also on the duration, if we think on the game, usually the game is often the game has a beginning and the end. If we think of the gamified process, it can last for a long time. We can start it, and actually that's the way how the organization functions. If you think for scouts, for example, they have this idea of levels and so on, which is actually functioning all the time. And if we think of using, for example, some badges or some other elements of gamifying the process, we can think also, is it a 3 months process? Is it a 1 year process? Or is it like just the way how we function as an organization? And it goes like with the duration. Then also what will be their winning conditions or not? And what will be their winning conditions? Is it something when the people are competing with each other? Or is it something when the people are just, in the end, they feel okay, that their contribution is recognized, that themselves they feel more confident and so on, and that they start to believe that they can do something themselves. As for example, working also with young people with disabilities, very often I face the situation that they were grown up in the environment when they were all the time told, okay, you can't do it yourself. Okay, I will help you, I will support you, and then through this gamified process, when they could do it themselves, they started to believe, okay, I can do it. And this was the best reward, let's say, for them, that my believe in myself. And then also other, like how this will be organized, if you need somebody who will coordinate it from the management perspective, and the process and mechanism. And we put all possible elements for the mechanism, what we think about. Is the evaluation, not evaluation, competition or cooperation, point system, time investment, and so on. So this is an algorithm what we found very helpful for us to think also how we can use the games what we have in the organization already. Not to invent something new, but actually how to accumulate everything what we have there. And then also for the content, for the culture, and as you see, other tips here, and for the culture to think if it's used in the different cultural, let's say, environment, then or if you develop it in the international team, then how cultural also influences need to be, or which cultural particularities, let's say, need to be taken into consideration. So that's the algorithm what I want to share with you, and I hope that it can also help you when you will be developing your games. There is also the link there in the chat, and you will get it also. It will be actually available, together with the presentation. But then I want to offer you. I want to offer you the opportunity to develop the game together. But before going to Padlet, what you see in the chat, we will need it for some later moment. I want to offer you the opportunity now to develop something for your young people and for yourself. And I will use for that one of the games what we have developed for brainstorming and creating interesting ideas. And the game what we called the pitch, because it was developed in order for young people to from one point of view to brainstorm together, but also to present their ideas for others. And you will have chance now also to be game developers, and you can take it as the task. You can take it as a development of the gamified process, or you can think of just a small game. You will decide it in your small team, and we will be working in different stages, and you will be developing the game. And you can just imagine now that you are the best game developers ever. And this is why you managed to get into this workshop. You will have a chance to quickly come up with all different ideas that you might use in your youth center as to gamify some processes what you have there. It can be any possible ideas that came to your mind. Don't think that any idea is let's say impossible. Everything is possible now. Just come up from the perspective of your young people you work with, or your youth worker or trainer, or whoever are involved in the youth organization. Then come up with the ideas how to gamify processes working with young people in your organization. Any possible ideas. In the next round of another 6 minutes, you will have a chance to improve your ideas, and to improve your ideas using the creativity cards. You will get back in the room, and then but before getting in the room now, just not looking in the Padlet, right? Not looking in the Padlet, just think of the number from 1 to 30, each of you. And now you can look in the Padlet, you have access to Padlet. And in your group, when you will be working on the ideas further, you can use these creativity cards. And how you can use creativity cards? Usually creativity cards are used in any possible ways. Like if I open now for example, if I would choose card number 2, that there is an image, there is a drawing, and there is a word. And then you can pick up either all the elements, or you can use one element, and you can decide yourself in your group, like if you use just one card of one person, or if you use 2 cards, or maybe you can just share the numbers what you have picked up, and then brainstorm together how you can improve your ideas. For example, if my idea would be to to continue again with this leaves collection, let's say, outside of the youth center, in autumn, then I thought I could choose, for example, card number 2, and then I see, okay, there is this image of frost, and then I thought, maybe we clean the leaves and then we can eat the ice cream, all of us, or we can narrow what it means. How can I use this word narrow? Maybe we when we are cleaning, we are making very narrow lines out of the leaves, and only then we collect them into the rubbish bags. So it can be in any possible way how you use this, these cards. You can pick up the color, for example, the green color. It means that everyone who comes to pick up this or to collect leaves, they are coming. They need to have some element of green in their clothes. So any possible way how you can improve ideas. But to improve 5 ideas, can be quite long time consuming and so on. So I would invite you to pick one idea what you would like to improve, and using the creativity cards, and you will decide in your group, either you are using elements from different cards, or you just decide for one card who one of you have selected. Okay. And you will have 6 minutes for that. Good. So you will have now, but how many ideas do you have? Tell me. What do you want?
Well, I have one idea. Probably someone else also has some idea to present. I've heard a bunch of stories.
Yes, we have like 4 ideas to present.
Okay. So, but the pitch is very short. So we have now 5 minutes, meaning that we have to be very, very quick. And I will have here the bell, meaning that the time is over. I will put it on my watch, and I will count it. So if we can fit into 40 seconds presentation, then we can have all 4 ideas presented. Okay.
I had picture number 17, and in the foreground there was a snowman, and my idea was that cooperation and bonding is part of gamifying a process. And what this picture inspired me was actually when learning stuff to put people outside, or rather in a large room, so that they can use the environment as a way to cool off. Also, another picture was one with scissors, and that meant to cut to the chase. Always remember that you're out there to do something. They could, when they're learning something, they could actually listen to each other in terms of what they learned. And the last thing was colorful, and that showed me that the room where you're learning should be huge, or you should be out there in nature.
Okay, perfectly great. And virtual applauses to you. Very good. So let's go on with another one. Thank you very much for so interesting idea. Actually, it's like improving in 3 different directions. And who is the next?
Okay, so I took the idea that I wrote down an idea about when you learn something and you teach others. And I had number 23, which is a picture of a window, and then the traffic light and the word original. So I was thinking like the traffic light could be like the rules of the game, and that you have to learn them and you have to follow them. And the window is like you're on the opposite side of the window, so you learn by watching, but you can also see something through the window and teach one another, I think. And I wasn't sure about the word original into that, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. Ta-dam, ta-dam, ta-dam. Applauses to you as well.
Okay, I will do it. So my card was 18, which is the first image is with a magnifying glass to something microscopic. So I was thinking that in the learning process, it is very important in the cooperation with others to look up the basics and dig in the subject so you can better understand it. Then we have a picture with a staircase actually, and it's you go down the staircase. And this means that, when you go down the staircase, it's way easier than when you go up the staircase. So this process of looking up into the subject, it makes it actually easier than the process of just learning Okay, and the last word, kind, is that we need to be kind to each other and understand and not be aggressive.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very
if
much.
I was long. Sorry.
That's fine. Okay, I mean, you have so many ideas to present here, and one more idea we have, right?
Wow, there is a lot of box. So it means that the youngers need to think outside of the box. There is something specific for them, some opportunities, experience, learning process, non-formal education. So if they put it the red glasses, it means that there are a lot of youth workers to help them, to orientate, to guide them to the better way, to transform the behavior in something more positive, funny, engaged, committed, responsible, as much as they can do. So let's try to pick it up one box time to time. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, and applause is to you as well. This time we are, I mean, our investment company, or I don't know, organization, three of us, we have kind of unlimited resources, so we are supporting all the ideas what you proposed. And basically, thank you very much for sharing, I mean, for sharing the ideas and for working on the ideas. And if we would have more time, I mean, we could make this game more, let's say, into the stages, and then we can have even more time to pick up one idea and to improve it and so on. I mean, also think in more details. And usually with the young people, we very often actually use this pitch and creativity cards in order, I mean, to start to think out of the box, because very often, I mean, they used they are expected in a way to give the right answers, and they are kind of afraid to say some crazy ideas and some, let's say, ideas out of the box. So we offer them these creativity cards in order to propose ideas in the organization, for example, for the new project or for some event or for something else. And then they work in the smaller teams, like in teams of 3, and then we can also decide them, they can imagine in which background they work, on the beach or in the forest or on the streets or somewhere else. So kind of bringing these creative elements in the game, in the regular process, but make it more interesting and make it even more, I mean, engaging and different, from something what they were used before. And in the end, they're also voting for the ideas. We give also these plastic coins sometimes, and then they vote like investors. They also feel themselves in the role of the investor, which idea I would like to support and further work on that. And in this way, we also develop these presentation skills. We explain them how the presentations can be made, and then they prepare or improve their presentation. Also, in this time frame, like 1 minute, usually help them also. Sometimes it's stressful, but at the same time, they also get used to shortly formulate their ideas. But also, we might be very strict with this send watch, but at the same time, we can give them also still chance to talk about, and then they can think how to improve again presentation from the point of view of the time, how we can bring the essence of what we want to say, and. If you like this idea, use it. I have put also different links in the presentation. Not in the presentation, you have link to the resource material, and in the resource material there are different links. So you go there, you pick the other links, and then you find more information about different gamified activities, different the resources on gamification, what you can use later on in your work.